Okay, so I'm here with Susan Dunn, the founder of Harbour Litigation Funding, which is probably the best known litigation funding organisation in the UK. You've been going for 20 years, Susan, and the man in the street, if they know anything about litigation funding, doesn't even know it existed 20 years ago. So what's changed over 2 decades? I'm guessing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the principles of what we do haven't changed, which is we pay all the costs of a piece of litigation in return for a share of the proceeds. What's changed, and a conference like this wouldn't have taken place probably even 5 years ago, is who is using funding. So it started out for those people who had no money, insolvent companies, all the way through SMEs, large corporates, governments, and now these groups of consumers in particular, groups of claimants who on their own can't bring a case, but collectively can bring a group action.
Yeah, and talking about that, you've just hot off the ESG panel.
Yes.
And here's a question I often ask funders and litigators. Some environmental litigation is not about monetary compensation, especially NGOs. They just want the oil company to admit they're doing wrong and to change their ways. So without financial compensation in the bag, what challenges are there for climate change litigation being funded?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, because every funder has to look to make a return on the money that they spend on a particular piece of litigation. Having said that, there aren't many funders I know now who don't also have a charitable or pro bono aspect to their businesses, and they'll all have their own particular objectives for that. Charitable endeavours, maybe environmental matters. So they can then look to fund those who are looking for declaratory relief.
Yeah.
As separate from what they might be doing in their day jobs, where you can have those types of claims which have a financial return, so they can sit alongside each other.
And does Harbour do that?
We, in terms of our pro bono work, we don't have any environmental matters at the moment. We do a range of other things, but it's something to keep under consideration.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep you too long because I know you want to shoot off and get a cup of coffee like all of us, but a lot of investors, I understand it, a lot of people who investors in funding, do it to get a return.
Yeah.
It's part of a portfolio. And now that in the UK, and in fact all over the place, interest rates are going up and returns on investment are higher elsewhere, do you think that will affect organisations like yours attracting investment from investors?
Well, you know, the funny thing is that we've always attracted those who, it's what's called not correlated to the markets, whether those be on bonds and gilts or the stock markets. So people come to us because we are counter-cyclical often, because you can usually have 6 years to bring a claim, and the outcomes are not at all tied to the market. So people have always liked, they call us sort of special situations or alternative investments that they can do. So I don't think that changed. We continue to see the appetite. What you do find, though, rightly, is that the investors who are looking at litigation funding now expect to see a track record if they're going to invest. The novelty of funding has gone a little, so they, like any other investment, need to say, are you any good at this?
Yeah, and are you?
Well, I think we are. We've been going, Harbour's 15. I think this week Harbour is 15. So I think that says something about the fact that we managed to stick around this long.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you
us.
very
Thanks,
much.
Susan.
Thank you.